All right. So today is the 9th of October, it's a Thursday. Um, yeah, so how has this week been? I think I recorded last Tuesday or Wednesday, or maybe, yeah, something midweek. So, yeah, this week is supposed to be like a very, very, very busy week. So, I was planning on submitting like 5 papers last week. This time I was so mentally stressed and all the um, writer's block and all the procrastination and all of that stuff. And I mean, the main thing was that okay, there are 5 papers. All of them, I am like supposed to be the lead writer, right? If not the lead analysis person. So 2 of them, I led the analysis, right? Like so one of them is a single author paper, and I did everything on my own. The other is, okay, in this kind of setup where the student gave me all of the data and then I have to run all the analysis, I have to perform all the regressions, whatever stuff I'm going to do. So there was that. A lot of that was not super finalized. So I had some results. I had to put them in context, write them. Okay, there was that already cognitive load. But then I had these 3 others, which were like I have to write them from scratch. I have to write everything, like introduction related work, data set, results, discussion, conclusion, and all of those. I mean, luckily, WO is only 8 papers, so that's 8 times 5 is 40 pages. I mean, I did not complete all 5, so that's the bad news. Is like I mean, these the main thing is done is always better than perfect. I mean, Dean, my postdoc advisor at MIT, always used to say this. I believe that as well. Like, if you get this out through the door, that's always much better than having something that you may or may not do in 2 months from now. Because some of these papers have been in the pipeline. This one paper on this Android app. I mean, I started it in 2000 or when I started, like 2 to 3, 4 years ago. And man, it's not that it's not an exciting project. It's just me. Like, and I was doing fucking like Android development and stuff like that. So anyway, okay. So I submitted 3. I will not submit 2 more, which is fine. Like I think, um, I mean, already 3 papers is a big feat. Like for me, I mean, I used to think like when I see these kind of people, my friends who are now in like engineering schools and they submit like 5, 10, 15 papers that they're a co-author on. I used to think, okay, these guys are missed. Like, why? How can you focus? And okay, now I'm also doing that without a big team, which is a huge burden on you because now those 2 papers, the students who are supposed to be on those 2 papers are looking at me or counting on me to write and deliver kind of thing. Okay, in this case, that was not the case. Like, so I was not the one who held those up. But yeah, I mean, those are the pressures are, and like having those kind of things constantly, like, if there's whatever, like you're a CS person and you have these deadlines every freaking other month or something, man, I cannot deal with that. But anyway, so okay, so what were the papers and how did they turn out? I think, okay, so one of them was an old paper. This has been rejected like 3, 4 times now. And so we had redone it completely. So we removed almost every analysis in there and like redid most of it. And so the student who was supposed to, who had done the original paper, he just finished his internship. And as I had expected, like he just dropped off. And so then I had found someone else to do it, and they did not do anything. Then I found someone else, and they did not do anything. Then finally, I found someone else. They took the thing, and it's a very impressive data set of Facebook, public data from Facebook for almost 10 years, more than 10 years. And so we did a lot of interesting things there, like demographic consumption of political content, and then political exposure and non-political spaces, a bunch of things like that. So that was okay. I mean, let's see. I mean, it's a weird data set. I mean, we collected writing about it in the sort of data donation as a contribution, but nobody seemed to care or like about that. So we really were trying to write like an analysis paper on that, which is, I don't know if that's a good way of pitching it, but let's see. So that's that. And then there was one which is like a very experimental paper. I mean, experimental in the true sense of it, like it's a weird idea, and I said, okay, let's try it. And okay, something came out of it. That's a good thing. So the idea is, we have this WhatsApp data. We have the locations where the WhatsApp data was collected because we went to people's homes and collected the data. And so now we can, uh, you know, connect this sort of offline data. That is, we have the location, so we can get like Google Street View and like some sort of map location, map point of information there. Like, is there a shop there? Is there a hospitals or things like that? Uh, and so we kind of got these offline variables, so which is the presence of various businesses, health, religion, politics, all of that stuff, and also some sort of Google Street View data, like things like cleanliness, economic status, road quality, and things like that. And then we combine that with our WhatsApp data, which included things like demographics of the people living in those areas, then uh, um, WhatsApp conversation data, and a bunch of things like what the conversation is about, how the conversations go ahead, and things like that. It was very, 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 I mean, what is the hypothesis here is that, okay, there's lots of these sociology kind of work that shows, I mean, that's my belief is that, I mean, these are spurious correlations to a large extent, whatever report maybe, but I think it's interesting. Like there are, where I live really influences my mood and my surroundings, and the way if digital life is like a very important part of your life, then it is influenced by where I live and the environments I live in. So that's the hypothesis, right? Like, so this is called social segregation theory, I think. Not segregation, something else. But anyway, so uh, yeah, whatever. Like, so that's the paper. So very, very experimental. Like, I mean, we did not expect. I mean, there's a lot of investment into like getting the WhatsApp data, obviously, but getting the Google Street View data, that was hundreds of gigabytes. Then actually using some sort of language model to a visual language model to annotate those. Again, that was a huge investment. Then to get that, yeah, so what we did all of that. I think when we had some results, I am not super convinced. I think it's like a short paper where you say, okay, we had this idea and we found this kind of thing. But for www, I don't know if people will buy it. I am like describing this idea to yourself. Like I think it seems like a cool idea, but I don't think the results are convincing. Because I mean, it's really hard to find these sorts of things. I mean, there are some very good correlations and very strong, like you control for a lot of variables, and you still find something. But let's see. So that's one paper. Then we had the final paper, which was, I mean, originally when I had thought about this idea, I was really, really excited, and I thought this would be the highlight of my career kind of paper. Man, but what a learning experience it has been. Firstly, okay, it was an Android app. It's very, very, I still think it's a very cool idea. Like, so it's an Android app that helps us detect viral content without like any privacy concern. It's very well designed. Like, we had a lot of like, we had to go through a lot of shit to get this working on a phone locally, and scale it like to, I mean, we eventually implemented it on like thousands of devices. So, and that too for a fragmented ecosystem like Android, man, I can't tell you how hard it is. So, okay. And then we also got some data. Like, so basically, the reason why it took so long is to get the right type of data, you need certain type of sampling. So if you don't sample this sort of snowball kind of network, you really cannot get. So basically, the idea is you get some messages on WhatsApp, I get some messages on WhatsApp. We do this sort of private computation where we do an intersection of what you have and what I have without actually revealing the actual contents. So that's sort of a thing. And anyway, so basically, what I realized very quickly is just describing this idea is not a big paper. Like, so again, like this, you will realize, like, once you start writing, is when you're framing it. I really am, again, because this is my idea, like, I really am super excited by this idea. And I used to feel like, okay, this is convincing, like that, if I can just write this up, people will be amazed and this is a good paper. But when I wrote it up, like, I realized that, okay, I mean, it's a really small paper, like 8 pages, but I'm not even able to fill like 4 pages with this, right? Like, I describe everything, I have the data, we have this much amount of viral data, this amount of network data, and all of this stuff. Okay, that's very cool, but okay, there's nothing else to talk about there. So then I had to come up with all of this other network theory of, like, okay, simple contagion, corporate contagion. Then we have this network data. So that's real WhatsApp data, network data. So we can really construct some sort of network on there, do some simulation, do this, do that. Okay, so how did the paper end up? Again, I think it's borderline at most. Because again, let's see, I mean, depends on who reads it, how they feel. Like, if they know the amount of work it takes and the effort it took to actually operationalize and deploy this, I think that's really good. But I think that's not that easy. I don't know, people may not really understand. Like, it's some of the really, really difficult stuff that I did. So let's see. I mean, WW is the ultimate prize. So for me, let's see if that works out. But anyway, so that's that paper. And so even there, like, the thing is, like, okay, the setup is impressive, but the results are okay. Wow, what is it like? You can describe the thousands of viral content you got, and okay, how many times did you describe that, right? Like, so I mean, I've done this in the past. So let's see. I don't know what will happen. Okay, there are two more papers I was thinking of submitting. One of them I was really hoping we'll submit. One of them is a long shot, but I was hoping we will. But yeah, I did not. Uh, I mean, again, like, both the students are just busy and they could not deliver, so it's not there. But yeah, I hope they both also deliver soon. And like, I mean, it would have been a great WW kind of submission, but let's see. Let's see. So those are still out for not published, but hopefully we get something. Okay, so that's that. But yeah, this week has been really, really busy in that sense that, I mean, I almost never ever do this, like, but I was working on Sunday. Um, Again, like, in the last 10 years I've been in research, you could really count on your hand, like, how many weekends I've been active working. Almost, like, maybe 10 days, in the, what are 10 years, that's I don't know, 500 weekends, right? Like, so that I really don't do that. I really don't encourage anyone to do that. But yeah, this one, it, I mean, it shows the seriousness of how stressed I was, because I mean, man, things were in really bad shape. And again, like, done is better than perfect. So I really am happy that we submitted them. So yeah, so that's the week. And now I have a lot of these backlog from all the stuff that I've been ignoring. Then I have a lot of upcoming grant submission deadline, and then I have uh, a bunch of those kinds of things. And obviously, there's other stuff that's happening right now that I'm also interested in. Yeah, so that's that. And yeah, see you next week.